The number one productivity hack that I have for you is so simple, so easy that most people will simply overlook it. You need to learn to live by your calendar. Why your calendar? Well, if you're anything like me, before I started doing this hack, you don't know where your time's going. You have so many things going on, you're overwhelmed and stressed, and yet when you sit down to get work done, you don't even know what you're supposed to be doing. I remember times where I would just sit there for 30 minutes just trying to get myself together so I could get started. So the first thing that I did, and that you should do too, is take your Google Calendar or whatever platform you're using and let it auto sync to all your different activities. The platform that I used for school could sync to my calendar, so all my classes, my homework assignments, my group projects, my exams would all automatically fill on my calendar. The same thing was true for work. All the tours I was doing as an agent would show up right there. I immediately got back so much of my time because now, instead of going to multiple apps and platforms and websites, trying to figure out what all I have to do and then writing it all down and then making a plan, it's all there automatically on my calendar. Now for the stuff that won't automatically pop up on your calendar, yes, you're gonna have to develop the habit of taking a few seconds every time something comes up and just adding it right then and there. And so what ends up happening after a few months of doing this is that you know exactly where your time is going. You know exactly what to do, when to do it, where to be. I challenge you to do this for 3 months and see just how much more productive you can be. Now, another productivity hack that I learned was to time block. This is like your calendar and your to-do list all on steroids. Basically, you're gonna plan out each and every day exactly what you're going to do and when. This ends up doing two things. First of all, it takes away the guesswork from what am I gonna do, when am I gonna do it? Kind of like the calendar thing we talked about. Now, the second thing that time blocking does is it actually makes you more productive. Say, for example, I want to film a video. It's one thing to say I'm gonna film a video today. It's another thing to say I'm gonna film a video from 9 to 10. And at 10 o'clock, I'm going to be done and I'm gonna move on to the next thing because from 10 to 11, I'm making lunch. Now, you definitely don't have to time block your entire day, every single minute. I tried doing that, it didn't work for me. I find it much more productive to take the stuff on my to-do list, the priorities, and time block those. So I might have a chunk from 9 to 10, 11 to 12, 2 to 3, 4 to 5, call it a day. Everything else in between there, you can be super flexible, you can spend time with family, whatever you wanna do. The third productivity hack that I learned while in college was to choose my side hustles wisely. I feel like when I started out, I would just say yes to anything. Anyone that wanted to meet with me or needed me to do something or any opportunity, I was there. And what ended up happening was I would overbook myself. I'd have too much on my plate, I was stressed, and the truth is a lot of the things I was doing, I wasn't passionate about. It wasn't the most financially right decision for me, and I ended up quitting soon after. I know that as a college student, you technically have more free time on your hands, your schedule's more flexible, you have a lot of energy, but it doesn't mean you need to go and throw that energy and time out the window. My best advice is that you choose a few side hustles or one really good side hustle that can make you really good money, it's convenient for you, there's growth potential, and then you hammer in on that one. Another productivity hack that I learned was to actually track my goals and my time. I remember meeting another student who carried around a small pocket-sized journal with them everywhere they went, and they would pull it out every time they had an idea or a question or a problem that they wanted to write down. The truth is, a lot of successful people keep a journal. Why? Because, well, they like writing down their ideas, their thoughts, their key lessons, so that they can later reflect back on them. And we know that we retain more information by writing down, so even that mere act of writing down something that you learned is gonna stick better in your brain. And so every day I do 3 main things. First of all, I write down my goals for that day. And you have to be careful because I could easily write down 15 things that I need to do for the day. But I want to write down 3 super important things that will move the needle on whatever main goals I'm trying to accomplish. I also have a separate note that's pinned at the top of my app that has my high-level goals. And I'll use this as a reference to help me create my weekly and then my daily goals so that I'm not just aimlessly throwing things out there, but I'm being strategic about what I'm accomplishing. Now, After I'm done writing down my goals, I'll go and write down some things that I'm grateful for and some other things that I want to reflect on throughout the day. The third thing I'll do at the end of the day is I'll reflect back on what I accomplished. 1, did I hit all my goals? And 2, where did my time go? You can get crazy and use a journal or an app and completely track every second of your day. I know some people do this for maybe 1 or 2 weeks and then reanalyze their life based on what they find, but I simply just write down roughly how many hours I think I spent on X, Y, and Z, and if I need to make any changes, then I'll just readjust from there. My next productivity hack definitely goes against what you'll hear out there in hustle culture. All the focus is on achieving, grinding.
Rise and grind and rise. If you don't rise, then there's no grind. If you don't grind, there's no grind.
And I would argue that if you want to stay productive, or at least this is how it is with me, I need to get good sleep. I need to have some fun, spend time with my wife, do things that are super important to me so that I can be recharged. Because I know that if I can get myself to peak performance, then I can go out there and do the high dollar tasks. I can grow much faster than other people, and I'll come out stronger in the long run. And you do have to ask yourself, if you're doing all this hustling, what's it for? If it's just for the money, then you have problems. But if you're doing it for something else, make sure you're not prioritizing the money and the actions and the hustling over the thing that you're doing it for. There is so much chatter out there about AI and all these other tools coming out. There are so many real world applications in your personal life, in schooling, in work. For example, content creation. That's one of my side hustles. And I use ChatGPT AI to write some of my scripts, to come up with video ideas, to perform research, to come up with titles. What would normally take me several hours can be done in as little as 30 minutes, ultimately saving me time to go and then do more important tasks. If you're in school, you have to be careful about this because they're cracking down on it a little bit, and you don't want to let AI do your schooling for you. But if you have a 15-page paper that you have to research and analyze for a project, you could use ChatGPT to do that a lot faster. So by automating the stuff that you're doing every day, you're going to free up time, make better decisions, and ultimately you're going to make more money faster. That should definitely excite you. And if it does and you want to learn more, make sure you watch this video next. I'll see you there.